It's Thursday, July 21st. It's time for us to say morning, Barbados.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Welcome to the Thursday edition of Morning Barbados. I'm Katrina Marshall saying thanks for making us your first choice to start your morning off right with. Mixed bag of weather over the evening. Some of it was fair, a few sprinkles. Either way, I hope you were safe. You kept slow or medium paced on the roads. They can be a bit slippery and you arrived alive. Someone else who arrived alive and safe and back with us once again this morning, Colin Cunningham and Cassandra Crawford. Morning, guys. How are you doing?
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
I'm great.
Good. Good morning, Barbados. How are you doing? It is indeed another day in which you can go there and copy the DM.
I don't think that there's necessary, Colin, but we quibble. I won't quibble.
It sounds better when you put it in there, you know. You know fish? There's a fish called a carp, so maybe you should go out and catch the carp.
Okay. All right. Whatever Colin says. Whatever. If it works for you, then
Go with it.
fine. Just
Let's put it in English then. Seize the day.
That's right.
All right.
Hey, that's like Desiree's words. She
Yeah.
would say that. Still love that song. You know, it's one of those classics. You gotta be. You know, she always
Bad,
says,
bold,
get up
wiser.
there, herald the day, do what you have to do, within reason, of course. But good to be with you another morning, as Katrina said. We're here, safe, and that certainly is a great way to start the day. Many things happening around the world. For example, people were supposed to be on a leisurely trip at Niagara Falls. 3 people deciding they want to get a better picture, and they slipped over. And of course, they're still trying to find them. So, you know,
goodness.
as you enjoy whatever leisurely trips you're taking in, just remember to try and put safety first.
That seems to be a growing trend in the world, though. A lot of people are dying at tourist spots because there was one in my tourist at a blowhole.
Yep, he just got completely sucked in.
Yeah.
And there's a place in Hawaii now that they kind of want to take it off all the tourist brochures and stuff because people are dying. And the thing is, sometimes when you go to paradise, you think you can't die, but think about it carefully.
Yeah.
Usually you die to go to paradise, so...
But quite apart from that, though, I think a part of the responsibility is on the people who run the attractions to put up the requisite signs and warnings. You cannot you can't legislate for someone else's lack of judgment, but you can give them information to work with.
Signage is there
for the family,
and you have to use your good
Your judgment.
sense.
But people leave judgment at home when they go on holiday. You know
that's
that,
the whole
Cassandra.
point. If I go to a blowhole where there's waves upping up, why would I go and peer in?
There are things these are things you read about. How dangerous
You go
they
to
can
Niagara,
be.
would you go to the edge?
I'm going to sit directly in the center because I already don't like ferries.
They actually scaled a fence.
There you go.
To get a better picture, and then one person reached out. It was an initial gentleman who did that. One lady reached after him to try to pull, and she got pulled over.
Oh, no.
And then the other person who went trying to help them, same thing.
See, I wouldn't be helping. I'd be like,
my-
you should have stayed beyond that fence.
Oh
my God, look at them fall. My goodness.
My judgment story, my signage story is being picked away at piece by piece, isn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think if the people who
well.
run the places, and most people don't want to get sued, they're going to do their part to make sure that you know where you're not supposed to go. So sometimes people, in their efforts to pleasure seek, forget that, you know, you still have to.
Yeah, it's like you got to be sensible.
Yeah. Something
If
can
you
go
go to
wrong.
the edge and you fall, let's think about it. You know, if you go to the edge, you're likely to fall over.
Yeah.
Stay away from the edge.
I guess so. I guess so. What else is happening in the world?
The shuttle ends after 30 years.
5 minutes away from 6 o'clock this morning.
5 minutes away from 6, it made its
Seems like I
final.
knew it all my life, though.
I know, and can you imagine what life must be? Can you imagine saying, I used to work at NASA?
Yeah, boy.
An entire
But
institution.
you know, it's like it started out about 10,000 workers or something like that.
Yeah.
Just to keep the shuttle program going.
Yeah.
And now it's been down to 6,000, and it could get even smaller.
It's dwindling.
But you know, those proud Americans are not, a lot of proud Americans are not very happy because they're going to have to rely on the Russians to put astronauts into space for the U.S.
And the U.S. has always taken a very big piece of pride in, you know, in being the ones to do it.
People are curled up in their bed with their sucking their thumbs going, oh no.
What will this mean for us?
I don't think it's quite so bad. I mean, because I think some of the, a lot of the workers that have been interviewed have pretty much said, you know, we don't feel too despondent. We feel like there is life after NASA. The shuttle has landed. This just in. The shuttle has landed. We're probably going to try and get you some video of that from the relevant website. But like you said, it's happened away from us for a while. I mean, it's happened in another country, but we feel like we've grown up with the shuttle, you know?
You know, one of the things that was fantastic about the shuttle was prior to the shuttle, if you send an aircraft into space, it's not going to come back usable. That was it. It was a one-time deal.
I like how you put that.
You send it into space and you say, okay, that's it.
That's it.
When you get back, that's it.
But the shuttle was the first reusable spacecraft, and that made it a leader in its field at that time. And now NASA is trying to support private entrepreneurs. You know that Richard Branson is working very hard on it, getting his, and also the Russians. But guess how much it's going to cost them to put one astronaut into space on a Russian ship?
How much is it going to cost?
$60 million a seat.
One astronaut. So much for that whole concept of space tourism.
And how many millions? 60?
60 million to take one astronaut into space per seat. You know they're not going to send one.
Yeah.
They've got to send at least 4.
I'm telling you.
4 times 60. Oh,
that must be a whole experience, man.
Yeah, it must be waking up in space, floating around. But you know, it had its tragedies too, right? There were 2 of them.
Two of them, that had
one on departure
and one on re-entry.
Yeah.
We are being told that we are going to be finding out what's happening with the shuttle. We go now to Al Jazeera TV.
Commercial space flight here at the Kennedy Space Center. They're using some launch pads for commercial.
Okay.
Perhaps we had a problem on re-entry there as well.
Well, that can happen. That can happen.
Well, we are going to find out what's happening with them. I thought about it this morning and I thought, well, what are we going to talk about where space travel is concerned now? It's going to be over to the Russians.
Private individuals too. You know, a lot of people have already paid their money just to go to the edge of space. We're not even talking about going to the moon. But my fascination, though, with the whole space thing was the building of the space station.
The station itself?
Yeah, I'm trying to still figure out, I mean, I haven't read a whole lot about it, but I'm trying to figure out, what is it for?
What do you think?
Like, are we going to escape to the space station if there's a tragedy on Earth? I mean, what is it for?
Let's watch the next big movie.
I know, true.
That's usually where it starts, a lot of it.
And I also remember when I was much younger, when they were, you know, Skylab. You remember Skylab?
I do.
Skylab was a satellite that was going to fall from the sky. And everybody's wondering, where was it going to fall and if it was going to hit, you know.
Wow. Fascinating.
So suppose that falls out of the sky.
Okay, let's not suppose that. Let's not suppose that.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
We're going to just a little bit, and it's not even Friday yet. We're going to try to rejoin that footage from Al Jazeera to give us an update on the final journey of the space shuttle to Earth. Oh, okay, so we're not quite ready for that yet. Maybe later. But that's not the only thing making headlines. We, of course, have our own headlines for you here on Morning Barbados, so do join us at 7 o'clock for our main news package. But for now, here's a taste. From $200,000 to $1 million in grant funding is being made available to qualified local and regional businesses. It's an initiative of Compete Caribbean, a 5-year program sector development program involving 15 Caribbean countries. A government senator is wondering if the world is seeing the end of its great transformational leaders. Government Senator Irene Sandiford Garner posed this question as the upper chamber paid tribute to Nelson Mandela. Opposition spokesman Senator Kerry Simmons has also paid tribute to Mr. Mandela. He described him as a man who, like Errol Barrow, Fidel Castro and Vladimir Lenin, transcended his class. It's official. RedJet can start service to Jamaica. The airline has received confirmation from the Jamaica Civil Aviation Authority that it has been cleared to begin operating into and out of the island. And finally, Prime Minister Dr. Denzil Douglas has welcomed the soon-to-be-introduced scheduled direct flights between Canada and St. Kitts and Nevis by Air Canada. He says this will not only improve the tourism sector, but make it easier for citizens of the Twin Island Federation to pursue their own interests. Those have been your Morning Barbados top lines. Do join us at the top of the hour for our main news package at 7 o'clock. But for now, other than the space shuttle, we find out what's happening in international headlines. And for that, we go to Cassandra, who's got a copy of the International Herald Tribune.
That's right. It's 9 minutes after 6 o'clock now. And of course, the International Herald Tribune is provided through Newspaper Direct. You can call them at 436-1314, or you can check out the website at www.newspaperdirect.com. But a number of headlines on the front cover. On the Middle East, Europe gets a pivotal role, but also risks. It says here, it is a truism of Middle East peacemaking that the United States is the go-to player, the most credible broker between the Israelis and the Palestinians. But with talks at a standstill, the Obama administration now finds itself on the sidelines, with Europe emerging as the key diplomatic bloc. Benjamin Netanyahu, the Israeli Prime Minister, and Mahmoud Abbas, the Palestinian president, have crisscrossed the continent in recent weeks, trying to woo leaders who are weighing whether to support a Palestinian bid for statehood at the United Nations. You can follow that story. Also, a French legal saga and a mystery vault. To find out what that's all about, Cameron Defence's role, News Corp arm assailed. It says Prime Minister David Cameron gave a determined defense before Parliament on Wednesday of his connections to former executives at News International, the News Corp, a subsidiary at the centre of Britain's widening phone hacking scandal, as a parliamentary panel accused News International of deliberate attempts to thwart investigations. I'm sure you'll want to follow that story because it's going to keep developing. And you can also find out about the situation with Thailand. It says here, sun, sand, and corruption. For fugitives, Thailand has it all. You can get the details to those and many more stories in today's edition of the International Herald Tribune. Thanks again to Newspaper Direct. We tell you now what's making headlines in our local newspapers.
Well, we start off with the Nation newspaper, and you live and you learn. I have to admit, I did not know that there was a People's Democratic Congress party in Barbados, but now I know because they staged a two-man protest yesterday at the Barbados Light and Power. Headway, Warren's Complex up for sale to help pay Barack. So if you have a little small change hanging about, you know, the complex is up for sale, you may want to go there and check it out. On the back page, AG Muscle, Brathwaite vows to look into allegation of dishonest marshals. And if you say you want to meet someone in town and you don't know where, there's a good vantage point you may want to check out. It's called, being referred to in the paper as Stink Alley. It's an alley which connects Fairchild Street to Jordan's Lane, and apparently there's a mountain of garbage there and it's growing. Also, according to a fireman, it's being used as a toilet. My goodness, that is not good news. Inside, I have to share this story with you. An anonymous donor in Denmark has left nearly $200,000 in closed recycling bin outside a charity shop run by the Red Cross. Now, the Red Cross people, they found it in this bin with a note saying to the Danish Red Cross, from anonymous, you've been collecting for 40 years, so they're excited. But the police, they say, we want him to come forward. We have to make sure this money was not gotten from illegal acts. Accept it. Well, I don't know. Still holding strain on the front page of the Barbados Advocate. That's the headline. No major layoffs in the manufacturing sector since the recession started, so they're holding strain. Minister calls for greater use of NCC services. And on the back, ComfortDev comes to Barbados. Online networks to provide business opportunities for ACP members. Those are some of the stories in the local newspapers.
We're now going to take a break, and when we come back, Jeremy Stephen is standing by to tell you the price of everything.